guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Boomerang Money. So as for today's part, we are going to discuss a very important strategy or a very important system through which a beginner can easily trade, and the trades which are being made through the systems are very much accurate if followed correctly. Like 50 to 60% trades are very much accurate, and yeah, 50 to 60% trades being successful is a very good marker, is a very good number in stock market. So yeah, this is basically this is a system for a beginner, and I'm also a beginner, by the way. I'm also very beginner in stock market. So from my very past knowledge of about 3 to 4 months, I just started 3 to 4 months prior, and I have been trading on this. I have been using for 50 moving average and 200 moving average in my each and every trade which I'm like doing intraday or doing swing. So yeah, let's share this strategy and let's get started. So this is one of the very useful strategy for a beginner, and for sure beginner must use this to find a trend and like just to take up trade and for trend finding also. So in this previous video, we have gone through the concept that the 50 moving average like crossing strategy, the 50 moving average and 200 moving average crossing strategy. We have gone through this one. Okay, so let us revise for a bit, and if you would like to view the whole video, if you would like to go through the whole video, I would be leaving an iCard button right over here in the top right corner, or in I button I will be leaving the link for this video. So please do consider checking it out. And yeah, right now I'm offline. And but for the sake of our analysis, I've loaded the whole chart. We are on 1 day time frame. There is a reliance, and let's revise the previous video concept. That if this is 200 moving average and this is a 50 moving average, if 50 moving average crosses down to 200 moving average, as 50 moving average is intersecting 200 moving average down, markets is bearish. So it is mean that if 50 moving average crosses 200 moving average down in a downward manner, as you can see here, 50 moving average is crossing 200 moving average in a downward manner. So market is bearish. So what's mean by bearish term? Which means the further price is expected to fall. Okay, and if 50 moving average crosses 200 moving average in upward direction, then as 50 moving average is upward is up intersecting to 200 moving average, further market is bullish. So what is my bullish? That price is gonna increase. So based on this system, we can for sure have a trade, and in intraday we can short. In intraday we can for sure short if this system satisfies that 50 moving average is crossing down to 200 moving average. But for long term swings, we can take up this system very easily, like in which 50 moving average is crossing up to 200 moving average. Okay, so let's verify. Let's take an example how to trade. So basically, as per the point of beginner, a beginner for sure must be interested in buying, because selling is only available, or like we can only avail shorting in a stock or shorting an equity in intraday basis. So we can't just like sell an equity first and then buy it again in the same market. We should clear our position. Like we're selling, then we should buy it again on the same market days. Okay, so this is the condition which is only for intraday. So because prices are falling, we should wait until this condition satisfies, in which the 50 moving average crosses 200 moving average up. Okay, so here it is bull run, and price should increase. So let's go to a chart of Reliance, and let's analysis from very beginning to back, rather than from coming from back to front. We should go from the prior information which is to us, which is this one. Okay, so let's go. Let's see how we are going to take the trade. So basically we are going to have a look at 50 moving average crossing up and 200 moving average crossing down. This one would be our first priority. In which we are going to consider, and the second one would be this, in which 50 moving average crosses down to 200 moving average, in which we are going to sell. In this category, either we are going to wait until it shows this. So we can say if this occurs, in which 50 moving average crosses 200 moving average down, we are going to wait until the system from 2 becomes system to 1, or in intraday basis we can for sure sell the equity and then we can buy again on the same market day. So if this one is applicable, we can only do intraday, or we can wait until this converts to 1 and then we can enter a position on buy side in system 1. Okay, so let's analyze the same. From the very beginning, we can see this is a 1 day time frame. By the way, this is 1 day time frame of Reliance. In prior, we have seen. Let me mark up the intersections. This would be a bit helpful for each and everyone. Okay, so let me mark up. This is the point we are going to talking about. This is the point we are going to talk. We are going to discuss about, in which we can for sure see that 200 is colored in yellow and 50 is colored in white. Okay, whenever this occurs, the prices are going to either take support at 200 moving average or 50 moving average. As you can see here, it take supports at 200 moving average, then comes back, then takes supports at 50 moving average. So here are two possible conditions of for our entry. The first one would be this one, and the second one would be this one. Okay, the second one would be this one. Let me change the color. Let me make it to green as we are going to enter the market, as we are going to buy the market. So let me make it green in color as we are going to enter in market. Okay. So conditions to be satisfied are here the conditions to enter into market. Enter into the market conditions would be 200 should be downward. Here we can see the yellow line is a 201. Yes, it is satisfying. 200 is down. And the white one line is 50 moving average is upward to 200 moving average. Yes. So from this setup in which 200 is downward and 50 is upward, we can for sure confirm that. As 50 moving average is up, intersecting to 200 moving average, further market is bullish. So the further market is expected to be bullish. So moving right over here. As we can see, here are 2 points of our entry. The first one is entry at which the stock price takes supports at 200 moving average, and second entry is the entry in which stock price takes supports at 50 moving average. Okay, so moving ahead. Here is an entry. Here is a point where here is a point at which we are going to discuss is there is an entry possible for us in concept as per the strategy 1 or 2. Okay, so let me make it a little bit, increase the size of the arrow. Let me increase the size of the arrow. Here we are increased. Okay, so as we can see, here is a point of intersection of 50 moving average and 200 moving average. Here is a point of intersection of 50 moving average and 200 moving average. Okay, so but the difference between the point 1, this is point 1 and this is point 2. The difference between point 1 and point 2 would be, in point 1, 50 moving average is crossing up and 200 moving average is crossing down. But in the case of point 2, 50 moving average is crossing down to 200 moving average is crossing up. So let's go to a strategy. So this strategy is the one which is being applied right over here, in which 50 moving average is crossing down and 200 moving average is crossing up. So this is a point. So this is a point right over here to which this strategy is applicable. So as 50 moving average is intersecting 20 moving average down, market is bearish. So after this, a fall is expected. After this point of intersection, if fall is expected, yeah, we can clearly see a fall. That here is the fall. Okay, here is the fall. When we should enter the market? The thing is, when we should enter the market. We should enter the market whenever the prices face resistance or support by 200 moving average, or resistance or support by 200 moving average or 50 moving average. As we can see, prices rise right over here till this point. Then by facing resistance at this point, it started falling. Okay. Then again it started increasing. And again it started increasing by taking support at this point. Okay, so this one is yellow in color. Let me make it blue, because yellow is our 200 moving average, so that's why I'm making it blue. Okay, so by taking support at this point, it started rising again, and it breaks it, just like change in phases. Okay, so this is a system getting again. So where we should enter? We can't take a long position. Like, we can't just hold a equity if the market is bearish, which is falling, because we can make the same profits in intraday, because we can in intraday, if you are trading, we can sell the equity prior and then we can buy. So then that is allowed in intraday, but we can't do it on a long term basis. Like, we have to settle it down on the same market day. So moving ahead, Let me mark intersection points going up to this point. Let me mark intersection points. Here is intersection point. Okay, marking the second intersection point. Here is the intersection point. Let us say, okay, here is the intersection point. Let us analyze this thing. At this intersection point, we can see that 200 moving average is down, and for 50 moving average is up, in which 200 moving average is intersecting 50 moving average in a downward manner, or like 50 moving average intersecting 200 moving average in an upward manner. So which confirms our, let me just scroll it to the system 1 and 2. Yeah. So 50 moving average is crossing up, 200 moving average is crossing down. So as 50 MA is in up intersection to 200 MA, further market is bullish. What's mean by bullish? The price would increase. That's the meaning of bullish trend. And that's the meaning of bullish market. Okay. So at this point in which 50 moving average is crossing up to 200 moving average, the market is, let me add a text. The market is bullish. The market is bullish. Okay. So as you can see, the market is bullish. For sure, the market is bullish as the price is in a steep rise. Here we can see the price is increasing. Okay, so this is a confirmation that the price is bullish. The question right over here, which has to be asked, is when should we enter the market? And when should we enter the market? We should enter the market whenever the price takes supports at 50 moving average. Here it is, here the 50 moving average is. The white line is 50 moving average. We should enter the market whenever the price takes supports at 50 moving average. So as per the system is not going to confirm the entry each and every time whenever the price rises. So let me take an example. Here the price rise, here the price rise, okay? Here the price rises. Here the price is rising. Here, point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, price is rising. Here, point number 4, the price is rising. Okay, so point number, we can also take this point, but no, we should not take, because at this point the 50 moving average is not crossing 200 moving average up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fours are the 4 points after this intersections are bullish, and out of these 4, only 1 is being indicated by the system. This is a drawback of the system. This is the only drawback, that few times it misses out the trend and does not use as entry. So this is point number 1, point number 2, point number 3. At point number 1, 2, 3, we are not here with the entry. So here the price action take place, in which we have to draw the trend, and so it is completely a different chapter or a different topic to be talked alone. So yeah, we are also going to have a look at the same. So basically, here the entries are not possible as per our system, which we are having in our hands right now, which is 50 moving average and 200 moving average cross of setup. Only one entry is being possible. So yeah, here it is taking support. Let us analyze this from this point. Price rises, does not take support. Price rises, does not take support. Price rises, does not take support. So we have missed these 3 entries. Price consolidate until 50 moving average rises and takes support at 50 moving average, then it rises. So this is our entry. This is the entry for us. This is the entry for us. This is the entry point for us. This is the entry point for us in which we can take the entry. Okay, entry is confirmed as per the system. Okay, fine. Moving ahead. Okay, so this is a system in which 50 moving average crosses 200 moving average in a upward and 200 moving. This is yellow, is 200 moving average. 200 moving average crosses 50 moving average in upward direction, of 50 moving average is below 200 moving average. So a sell occurs. So bearish market occurs. So here is the sell. A sell occurs, then a buy occurs. It faces resistance by 50 moving average, open gap up, then yeah, it enters its different zone. The zone is changed and the setup is being changed. Okay, so further the market changes behavior to bullish behavior. Here we can see. Here we can see a false entry also. Here we can see a false entry also. Here we can see a false entry also. As we are expecting to price should be rising at this point. That further rise should be there, but a rise, but a rise in price didn't take place. So here is a false entry. Again, the stock price falls, takes support as I've told prior that 200 moving averages and 50 moving averages are good supports, are major supports in price action. So here it takes supports, then it rises. Okay, then it rises and face resistance by 50 moving average. Okay, so this is the setup going. So yeah, this is the setup basically, which the setup here the setup, the intersection setup is bullish. The price should increase because 50 moving average is crossing 200 moving average in upward direction, so the price should increase, and we can clearly see a rise in the price. So here is a rise in the price. This is a point at which entry is not given by a system. This is a point at which entry is not given by a system. This is the point at which a false entry has been given by a system. So yeah, the user, the one who is using the system, should be very much careful looking at the price action, at what kind of price action the stock is moving, and should not just clearly depend on the system of crossover. So this is a very basic system for a beginner, and one can easily analyze that is entry being there or not. So that's a trend finding system in some sort of, and sometimes a entry finding system. So yeah, just like going back and analyzing few other entries. Here is the same, in which we can see in which we can see that 200 is crossing up and 50 is down. So sell is occurring. Here we can see a seller curse. Okay, here we can see a seller curse. Then going back, no intersection, no intersection, no intersection, no intersection, no intersection, no intersection. Here is the intersection. Here is not that much clear intersection, but whenever this is the condition, let's analyze this. Let's analyze the system, which is, this is the price action which is between 16th of Feb till 9th of September. Let's analyze this. As we can see, here is a system in which there is a setup in which 50 moving average is crossing up to 200 moving average. 50 moving average is crossing up to 200 moving average. So as 50 moving average is up intersecting 200 moving average, further market is bullish. So we can see here the market is bullish. Where is the point which you are going to analyze? Yeah, this is the price range in which you are going to work out. So here we can see, here we can clearly see that 200 moving average is up, that 200 moving average is down, and 50 moving average is up. So let me revise it a bit. 50 moving average is colored in white color, while in the case of 200 moving average is colored in yellow color. Here we can see it takes supports at 50 moving average. A buy signal is given. A buy signal is being provided. Okay. Here it didn't take support. We missed the entry. Fine. We are going to be very much clear. We are going to be very much clear regarding our system. It should not be like the system which is being taught here is 100% accurate, or like it's going to work each and every time. That's never the case, because prices are very volatile and no one can clearly predict. Not even if you're using entry indicators, we can't get a clear price indication. Here we miss out the entry. Okay, here we miss out the entry. Here the market is purely consolidating. Here the market is consolidating. Here the market is consolidating. Here it gives a false entry, but we should be very much clear. We should be having other indication as well. So here is the false entry. Moving ahead, here it comes out of the consolidation, takes supports back at 50 moving average. Here is an entry. So till now we have gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of 5, the 2 entries were correct. Moving ahead. Moving ahead. Here is an entry. Here it takes supports at 50 moving average. Here is the entry. 50 moving average is rising. 200 moving average is rising. This is the condition for an entry. Here is the entry. Okay. Moving ahead, here is an entry. Like it has just crossed down 50 moving average, but yeah, further it is bullish and it came up with a great profit to us if you have entered at this point. Okay, came up with a great profit if you have entered at this point. Here we go again. Here is the entry, and the entry is correct as the further price is increasing. The further price is increasing, we can take a profitable entry right over here. We can buy the equity. Okay, moving ahead. Here is an entry which is like not that much. Just for 3 days, we can say just for 3 days green can occur. So here is the entry. Moving ahead. Here is the entry. Moving ahead. Here is the entry. Here is a fake entry. It didn't work out. It clearly didn't work out. Price just fell down. Then we can easily see that like 50 moving average is not rising. 200 moving is rising, but 50 moving average is not rising. So we should enter the market only when 50 moving average is rising and also 200 moving is rising and the price is taking support at 50 moving average or 200 moving average. So that's the entry. So as we can see, the entry which worked for us is this one, in which 200 moving average is rising, 50 moving average is rising. We missed the entry at this point. The price of the stock is consolidating, so we should avoid taking entry at this kind of patterns. Here is the entry, so we can clearly see that 50 moving average is rising, 200 moving average is rising. Entry confirm, profit. We can easily book profit. So 50 moving average is rising, 200 moving average is rising. So here we can take up an entry. 50 moving average rising, 200 moving average rising. We can take an entry. 50 moving average rising, 200 moving average rising, we can take an entry. 50 moving average rising, 200 moving average, we can take an entry. Here, coming here, like it can also rise further, like possibilities are two, either price is going to rise or fall for sure. But here the 50 moving average is not rising, but 200 moving average is rising. So we are not going to take any kind of entry. Okay, coming here, 50 moving average is not rising, 200 moving average is rising. Like this is not a confirmed entry. This one is not a confirmed entry, but the price went up. Like taking back support at 50 moving average, then the price went up. So there is always a risk involved, but we can minimize the risk by using our system. Coming here, it took support. It took support at 200 moving average. Then it undergoes a rise. Okay. Coming back, just break 50 moving average and just above 200 moving average took support, and the price start increasing. Coming here, so yeah, here we can easily see that it's a fake entry. It's a fake entry for sure, because up till this point we are going to only be here with the knowledge that 200 is rising, 200 is rising, 40 or 50 is rising. So we should for sure take an entry at this point. But after this point, the price just drop out. Then this is a fake entry which is being provided. This is a fake entry. After this fall, fall took a support at 200 moving average, took a support at 200 moving average, then rises. Then face a resistance nearby 50 moving average, then fall. Find a support at 200 moving average, rises. Rises till what? It rises till 50 moving average and faces resistance by 50 moving average. Then falls, taking support at 200 moving average, rises. It goes on. It clearly goes on. You can see at this point also it faces support at 200 moving average. At this point also faces support at 200 moving average. This point also facing support. This point also facing support. Facing support at 50 moving average, goes up. Missed an entry. So it goes up. It just like goes up with each and every stock we are going to have a look at. Moving ahead, take support by 50 moving average. Take support by 50 moving average, goes up. Then here is a fake entry, as we can clearly see that 50 moving average is also rising, 200 moving average is also rising. Still the price fall. After the fall took support at 200 moving average, rises. Moving ahead, you can easily see that here 50 moving average at this point at this intersection. 50 moving average is here at this point. 50 moving average is falling, 200 moving average is rising. We are not going to enter as 50 moving average is falling. So price falls, open gap up, and we have analyzed and we are done with the analysis of the part which has been taught right over here. So moving up to the conclusion of the video. So moving up to the conclusion of the video, let me just align the text. Okay, you're aligned with the text. So this is a setup in which 200 crosses are 200. It's not 2000, it's 200. 200 moving average. If 200 moving average crosses up and 50 moving average crosses down, the market is in a downtrend or the market is bearish. If 50 moving average crosses up and 200 moving average crosses down, as 50 moving average is up and setting to 200 moving average, further the market is bullish. So as per this, we have gone through the whole chart that how we can take a trade. If 50 moving average is rising along with 200 moving average, then an entry can be taken. And this is a very helpful strategy as per a part of beginners. So yeah, this is not a financial advice for sure. This is not a financial advice for sure. Stock market requires a lot of knowledge and a lot of learning before making any kind of profits or before entering the market. We should be primarily done with our own strategy, our own study, and then only we should enter the market because the markets are very volatile and risky. So this is not at all a financial advice to enter the market just on this setup because markets are very risky. So yeah, if you like the video, please do share, subscribe, and consider like. And I would be amazed to have a look at your comments. So yeah, do consider like, share, subscribe, and please leave a comment that what's the next topic would you like to watch video on. And yeah, thank you so much for joining with us. Thank you.